afternoon, everyone, and welcome to EMA's Health and Safety Podcast. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Kevin Chambers, and with me today I have one of our alumni, Jessica Sturgess. Jessica,
Hi.
welcome. Thank you for
Kevin.
coming.
Thanks for having me along.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. We're pleased to have you here. Today's topic is going to be talking about mentoring health and safety reps. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about your consultancy.
So I have a health and safety consultancy company, and I focus on small to medium businesses. So those people that have probably less than 20 people in their businesses is my main focus. So I go in and I can help customize their systems, but then also help them with their journey of actually implementing them and working with them to make sure that those systems are implemented, doing what they need them to do, and where we need to make changes.
How long have you been a consultant for now?
Officially, probably only a year and a half, but I've got health and safety background for the last 13 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And you also have a job too, right?
Yes, I do. I also have a job, yes.
And a family. So how do you do it?
I don't know. I don't know how I'm managing it. I think it comes from a passion. I've always been a caring person. I've always wanted to make sure others were safe. My biggest lesson I learned from my parents is always think of consequences. So I think that goes hand in hand with health and safety. You always have to think of, well, if we do this, what's the consequence of that?
Or if we don't do this.
Or if we don't do something, what's the consequence of that as well? So I have been, as I said, in the industry for 13 years, but I have also seen along those 13 years how these small to medium businesses are lacking in their health and safety. So they might have something in place, but it's not enough. So I really want to almost give back and help these people that can't afford someone like myself in their business, but may have reps or someone that can, keep an eye on it or part of their job, as well as other parts, but have me there to help them along that way if anything comes up.
Okay, cool. Well, look, thanks for bringing reps into it. So
no problem.
As a consultant, you're going into, you said, small businesses, usually under 20 staff. They will have one, maybe two reps, depending on how they approach it. What then is your role with their reps? What are some of the things that you're doing to help support them?
So it's making sure that their company invest in them. Making sure that they're trained and understand their responsibilities. It's been available to them whenever they need my help, understanding something. It's going through almost like as things happen, what do I need to do here? How can I do this better? Or it's going out on site with them and showing them how to go through an audit that they might be needing to do, or an accident's happened on site. And they haven't had one, and it's quite a serious accident, notifiable to WorkSafe. They haven't been through that process, so I can help them go through that because I've got the experience of doing it.
Can you give us an example then? You have just given us an example, an accident being on site, but another example of where a rep maybe has reached out to you with a challenge and without obviously mentioning the company or anything. What sort of
I once had a gentleman reach out to me. They were having an issue. It was in a residential build. They were having an issue where people were modifying the scaffolding to be able to have the roof tile machine, the conveyor belt, that's what I want to say, conveyor belt put the make it easier for them to move their equipment. Their materials.
They were looking at it being more efficient.
Yes. So they were being more efficient around that. But the problem that they were having was the scaffold was getting altered when it shouldn't have been altered. And then there was issues around how they could look at making that better. So rang me, told me what was going on, actually had the solution himself, which was great, but he just wasn't 100% as to whether it was something that he could do. So it was really good to see that he was already thinking along the right lines, and that he had actually noticed that there was risk there. So it wasn't that anybody else had said something to him. He had noticed there was risk. And once I gave him the confidence that, hey, actually what you've got suggested, I think is what I would do as well. Let's just make sure from experts who are in these industries, so the scaffolding company, the roofing company, make sure that that's going to all work for them and have an agreement on how task analysis on how this is going to play out.
Okay.
So,
I like your use of the word confidence. Is that something that you come across often? Reps aren't that confident?
Sometimes, especially when they're first starting out. They don't have the confidence to speak up. They may want to, but a lot of them come from probably not a health and safety background.
Yep. A
lot of them will come from their industry, whatever industry they're working in. That particular person was obviously in construction residential industry. It's one thing that I've always said is, or in one way I've always worked is, if I find a problem, there's no point me going to tell somebody if I don't have a solution, or at least an option of solutions. I go, okay, these are what I think we could do, what's going to work for us, and what's going to be the safest option, taking in cost and all of that sort of stuff as well. So that's how I like to train people is, okay, well, you've got the problem, you've come across the risk, you've done the risk assessment. What ideas have you got that we could look at doing this?
And then helping them have the confidence.
And helping them, exactly, to go, you know what, I think we should do it this way. And go, I 100% agree with you. Or it could be, I think that's a great idea, but how about we interweave some of that part of it as well as a, added protection.
So to be a good rep, you need to be a good communicator?
Oh, definitely. You need to be able to communicate, and you need to be somebody that's approachable. Somebody that knows how to deal with people, somebody that has almost natural leader skills as well, because you need, as I said, you need to be able to voice your concerns and sometimes even go against the director's decisions or your supervisor's decisions and say, no, we need to stop this right now because it's not safe for the people that are involved.
Right.
So, I believe that it can't just be anybody, but if someone's passionate about it and someone is dedicated and has some of these qualities, I think they can be great health and safety reps.
Have you interacted with a rep that maybe has been really frustrated about perhaps a lack of progress or whatever? Maybe they've called you up and said, look, I don't know what I'm doing here. This is, I'm not getting any cut through. And if so, how do you help them manage that?
So I have actually had the experience of working with someone that was a rep, had put themselves forward. Now that I look back at it, probably didn't have some of those qualities that we just spoke about. So sometimes it was hard. He was always saying that the company wasn't doing enough. These things aren't right. What are we doing here? So it was a learning curve for myself to be able to work with him. It's hard. As I said, you've got to have those qualities to be able to take on that kind of role. And people didn't want to approach him. He wasn't an approachable person. Okay. So that was hard. So a lot of the complaints or issues were of his own.
Right.
Of his own issues, and I would say a lot of his personal issues with the company, rather than actually doing it for the people within the company.
Were you able to get a resolution out of that situation?
I guess the resolution was that he ended up resigning anyway, he moved on. So I did try. We did get a little bit better, and our relationship did get better because I learned how to work with him. But it was more of him having a position rather than actually being a rep for the people.
Okay.
And so that's a big one. It's someone that's going to have the time to not only do their job, but the time to go and talk to people as well. Because sometimes it's a case of someone being asked rather than telling.
Right.
Yeah.
And you've got to be able to walk the floor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, what about I'm a rep. Let's say that I'm a rep and I am enthusiastic about health and safety, and that's why I volunteered to become the rep. I want to progress. In my health and safety journey. What sort of things would you suggest that I do?
So the best thing to start is we need to get you onto some sort of rep course to give you the fundamentals of how to be a rep and what responsibilities you have as a rep. And
so just stopping you there for a moment about the training. So is there a particular amount of training that I'm allowed to do each year? Is that
there is. Definitely. With under law, you are required to have amount of training, and it's also ongoing training as well. We shouldn't just stop with the rep course.
Right.
We want to give you as much help in being able to perform your job, because sometimes the work that's been done, you don't know how it should be done. You don't specialize in that work.
Right.
But you need to at least have an awareness of how, good practice, what good practice looks like.
What sort of things would I be looking out for?
Let's say, for instance, a crane operator. You're on site and there's crane operating happening. You may not know how to actually operate the crane.
Yep.
But you should know that, a dog man needs to be had. If there's heights involved, there needs to be harnesses. There needs to be areas cleared, isolated from other people, or if you can, try and keep people away from that area completely. So it's about knowing what sort of the chains and slings and what we should be looking in the maintenance and all of that sort of stuff.
Right.
So it's not just a case of you can just be a rep and we'll just do you on a little bit of rep training.
Yeah.
It's giving them the tools to be able to notice, well, hang on a second, this doesn't look right.
Yeah. So
I don't think this is safe.
And even if it's in an area that they don't have the expertise
exactly.
in, they do have the tools to be able to look at it and recognise when there are hazards involved and hazards that maybe aren't being controlled as well as possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So training's a good place to start.
Yep.
Again, super enthusiastic, want to progress my career.
Mm-hmm.
Let's think about things that aren't around formal training.
Mm-hmm.
What are other things that I could be doing within the organisation or on myself to make myself an even better health and safety practitioner?
So like myself, if it was a smaller company and I came in and was consulting with them, I would spend time with them going over, hey, let's go through an inspection together and teach them how to do an inspection and what they should be looking for. How do we fill in, what is the risk assessment the company is using? Is it one where we're identifying, how to do that risk assessment and identifying, okay, this is quite high and what controls we need to put into place in order to make sure that we're keeping the people safe while they're working with us. It's really just getting as much one-to-one time as you can with them and imparting someone more senior like myself, your knowledge with that person so that they're learning, they're getting the tools and spending time with them. But then it's also looking at, okay, well, what are all the trends and all the data that we're getting out of like accident reporting, near miss reporting? What are the failed items that were coming up in our inspections a lot? And being able to identify that and go, hang on, there's something here that we need to be aware of.
Yeah, there's a trend.
There's a trend
going
here.
in the wrong direction.
Yeah. And just also it's making sure that we can help develop their personal skills as well so that they know how to be, like I said, it's qualities in a person, but you can also train someone, how do I approach people when I need to get information from them? How do I start those conversations?
Particularly if they're people that are more senior to me.
Yeah, exactly. How does that work? So there's an array of tools and skills that we can give these reps in order to do their jobs properly. And then they become such a help to these owners of these business or health and safety people within their, the larger companies. It's like another set of eyes out there for them to see what's going on and probably, I don't want to say catch, but, see things that shouldn't be done compared to if someone like myself was walking around, and they knew that I was coming, that they would do the work as it should be done. Right. Yeah. Or as I imagined it should be. So it's almost like they're out there in the field for you as well and helping you. So it's about developing them and investing in them so that they, one, want to continue with that position, but then also further their career within health and safety.
So they need to be outgoing.
Yeah.
And not afraid of public speaking.
Definitely not afraid of public speaking.
Do they need to know how to run meetings?
No, we can teach them. That's something
I never.
It's
something
like
that you would teach them.
I never knew how to run meetings when I first started.
So let's imagine I'm a rep and I'm in my first couple of months and we've got a committee meeting coming up and I've never attended a committee meeting before, never run a committee meeting. what are a couple of things maybe that I could be thinking about to make sure that the meeting runs well?
Definitely want to have an agenda.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, you don't want to go in there all willy-nilly and just
We'll
not
see
having,
what we talk
just
about.
see what happens.
Yep.
Have purpose to the meeting.
Yep.
Make sure that everyone gets time to speak.
Yep.
But then also having the confidence when it starts to veer off in another direction or you're going off topic to be able to bring it back to topic and keep it to where you need it. And the biggest thing is actually keeping it within the time frame that you allocated.
Yep.
There's nothing worse than people sitting there going, this meeting's going over. They've clocked out once that happens. So you want to focus. Yeah.
Is there a good time frame? I mean, is it like about half an hour should be long enough generally?
Yeah, I would have thought, I personally find after that half hour mark, you lose people.
Okay.
So if they're, to the point, keep on topic. If something comes up, then we can look at that, can potentially, if it needs to be another meeting with the people involved. But keep to that, have that agenda. I mean, yes, there's going to be backwards and forwards and things are going to come out of it and you may go off topic a little bit. Yeah. But if you're veering very far from topic and not even talking about health and safety anymore, you definitely need to be able to have the confidence to bring that back in.
And that's another skill. And here comes that word confidence again. Meetings, they need to be minuted.
Definitely, yep.
Is the rep, should they be minuting it as well as running the meeting, or is it?
Not necessarily, no. It depends on how the meeting is structured and who's involved in the meeting. I would generally say don't have the rep, if they're running the meeting, taking the minutes. Have someone else taking the minutes, or if everyone's happy to record it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then do your minute meetings afterwards.
Right, and get AI just to go through and summarise it for you.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, cool. Are there any organisations that a rep could involve themselves with, or any publications that they could be reading, again, with the purpose of, I want to upskill, or I want to, get on my journey?
So my journey, I am a member of NZISM, and they're a great place to start.
Yep.
They've got some really good accreditation stuff, doing your own professional development, where you can do readings, attend conferences, things like that.
And they meet regularly
and
too,
they do,
in the regions,
yep, they do. And I'm an advocate of EMA and what they do around health and safety and webinars and training and stuff like that. So also getting into that.
Thank you for the plug for EMA. We really appreciate it.
No problem. So it's that would be a good place to start, and then develop from there, and you can learn. I'm also part of a Women in Construction that's got safety in it as well. I'm also part of Women in Safety groups. So there's definitely areas you can get into and get more knowledge in what's going on in the health and safety industry.
Right. If they're the only rep in their organisation, does that happen sometimes? An organisation just has the one rep?
With the smaller ones, yeah.
So who within the organisation then could they get support from? You mentioned earlier, one of the roles that you have is, yes, you are a consultant and you will go into small organisations and you'll mentor the reps. If you're not available, or if the organisation hasn't engaged with someone like you, who within the organisation can the rep go to?
They should be able to go to their directors or operations managers, because they have a responsibility themselves to know what's going on in the health and safety world, and knowing what risk and hazards they're putting towards their own employees. They definitely should be able to go to those people and say, hey, we've got a problem here, or hey, I want some more training, or I want to do this course, or I want to go on this conference, or whatever. So so they should have that support.
There should be internal support there for them. Cool. And talk to other people. They may have someone in their network that's a rep.
Yep, exactly.
Similar industry, different industry.
You've also got the HSEQ Register, where they can log in and see who's out there that they can get in contact with to discuss health and safety.
That's the HSEQ Register, HASANZ. I think.
Correct. And LinkedIn is a really great place for health and safety too, making connections with people and talking. Like, I've got connections with people throughout the world that I talk to if, see what's happening in their world, or, just have conversations.
Yeah. Is there a health and safety LinkedIn group, for example?
Generally, it's just, for me at the moment, it's just single people that I'm making connections with.
Yep.
But I would say, there will be groups within there that you can be a part of.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so you'll accept LinkedIn invites, connection
invites.
Yep. Excellent.
I will.
Okay, one final piece of advice then for someone, and again, we're talking about someone who's starting their journey. Maybe they've been in the role for a couple of years, and yes, they've had some challenges that they've had to overcome. Thinking about next steps.
Advice would be just stick with it. It is a hard industry.
Okay.
It can be a very lonely industry as well, because you're constantly almost having to identify what people can and can't do, and can sometimes be seen as the fun police.
Okay.
But just stick with it. It's a great industry to be in, and just the biggest bit of advice I can give is just further develop yourself. You can never stop training. Like, once you've hit something, just keep grasping and keep going across, And
you're still learning 13
I
years in?
am still learning. Yep. I'm definitely still learning. I've just done my Level 6 New Zealand Diploma.
Yep.
Achieved that, and I'm now looking, hey, what's my next step? How can I further develop myself and my knowledge and all of that? Yeah.
That's
so
great.
just keep going.
Good. That's great advice, and we really appreciate having you with us here today.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
Would you be interested in coming back again sometime?
I would love to come back.
All
I
right.
love having
Good.
these
We'll see
chats.
if we can organise that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our podcast for this afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. My name's Kevin Chambers, signing out, and stay safe out there. Bye-bye.